Oh my goodness, y'all. Do you see this mobile right here? Isn't this thing so freaking adorable? It looks like it's free floating. I am freaking obsessed. Would you believe me if I told you that I created this entire design project in Cricut Design Space using free shapes and only using 5 sheets of cardstock to make this gorgeous mobile? Would you believe me? Well, today I'm going to show you that you actually can create something absolutely gorgeous without ever having to pay for Cricut access and only using free shapes. Are you ready to learn? Let's go. So this project is actually going to be very easy. All you want to do is open up Cricut Design Space, and then we are going to go to New Project. Then what you want to do is come over here into Shapes, and we are going to stay in the free shape section today, and we are just going to insert a heart. So for this heart, let's just make it bigger so we can see what we're doing. And now what I want to do is go back into Shapes, and I'm going to insert this line right here. This right here is actually a score line, so you are going to need your scoring tool for this project. Now what we want to do with this score line is just drag it over and put it towards the middle of our heart. It's okay if it's not perfect right now because we are going to make sure it's centered, perfectly centered here in a second. Then what we need to do is make this score line as long as the middle portion right here. So the top middle right here and then the very bottom tip, you want to make this score line longer than this middle. When you've made your score line longer than the very center, so you can see there's a little bit hang off here, and then down here, we want to select both pieces, so the heart and the score line. So just hover over your mouse and select both of them. And you're going to come up here to a line and then center horizontally. Okay, the very next thing you need to do is come down here and press Attach. Now what we just did is we just told the Cricut that we want a score line on top of this cutout of a heart. If you did not press this attach button, what would happen is you would go over here into the make screen and you would have one mat that has a random line on it. Then you would have another mat with just the heart. So when we went and selected both pieces and pressed attach, now what your screen is going to look like when you press make is that the heart is going to get cut out, and then you're going to have that score line right down the middle, which is exactly what we wanted. Now what we need to do is change the size over on our heart. So for my particular mobile, my largest heart was 4 inches wide. So clicking on our heart, you want to make sure that this up here is locked, and I'm going to change mine over to 4 inches and press return. Then what I'm going to do is Command C, Command V, which is copy and paste. You could also just right click and press copy and paste. And I'm going to drag this down underneath the largest heart. Now I want my particular mobile to not only do the ombre effect, but also I want my hearts to start staggering smaller as it goes down. So for this one, I'm going to change this over to 3.5. I'm going to go in 1/2 inch increments here. Then what I'm going to do is copy and paste that second heart, bringing it down lower. And for this one, I want it to be 3 inches. You want to create as many hearts as you need for the drop of what you want your mobile to look like. Okay, I am just going to create 5 different hearts. Now what you want to do is recolor your hearts to the colors that you're going to need in cardstock. For my first largest heart, I want it to be my watermelon pink color found in my cardstock warehouse. So I'm going to click on the very largest one. I'm going to come down over here and I'm going to open this up. And I'm only going to select that heart. Then I'm going to come up here to this gray charcoal box. And I'm going to check like a darker pink color for my watermelon pink. Then when I'm done doing that, I'm going to click out of it. For my second heart, I'm going to click my second heart. Come over here. Click on that little caret button. Then select my heart. Coming back over here to this charcoal box, click on that. And I want that heart to be my bubblegum pink. So I'm going to click on advanced, and I'm just going to make this just a little bit lighter of a color than what I had in the watermelon. Clicking out of that. Doing the same thing with all the other hearts that are going to be in this row. So clicking on the heart, coming over here to the toolbox, click that carrot, click the heart, go back over to the charcoal box. This one's going to be my pale rose color, so I'm going to click on that pink and I'm going to make it lighter, clicking out. Doing the next heart in my line until I get done with all of my colors. So to create the full 3D effect, what I like to do is do 3 hearts per row. I'm going to end up using 3 hearts. The same with all the rest of these are 3 hearts. So what I'm going to do now is selecting all of my hearts, and I'm going to copy and paste Command C and Command V, and I'm going to make 3. Just to further explain, this one group right here is going to make 1 row down your mobile. So at this point, what you want to do is create as many of these groups as you need. I personally am going to do 3 drops on my mobile. So selecting all 3 of these for that 1 drop, I'm going to copy and paste. This is going to be my 2nd drop. Copy and paste again. This is going to be my 3rd drop. So for me, I'm going to have 3 drops, and every drop is going to have 3 hearts per row. Hopefully I did not lose you there. When you're done creating as many hearts and drops as you need, what you want to do now is press make. So depending on the size that you made your hearts and how many drops you have, you may end up with more than 5 sheets of paper. Now you can see that I actually have 6 pieces right here. That's because if we go over into mat 2, you're going to see the Cricut has spaced things out, and I frankly think that I could put more hearts on this page than what Cricut's telling me. So what I'm going to do is click on this second one that's right here, and I'm going to rotate this around, and I'm going to drag this one up here. I'm going to make some room on my existing sheet of paper. So I'm going to just maneuver these around so I get some room. You can see I could probably fit a bunch more down here. So let's go over into mat 3. Mat 3 says that we have 3 hearts on here. So let me just rearrange these real quick, just like we did with mat 2. Now what I'm going to do is drag and select all 3 pieces. I'm going to just move them down to the bottom. And then I'm going to click these 3 dots, move object, and move them over to mat 2 and press confirm. And look at that. I put all 3 pieces on that one mat. So now all I'm going to be using is 5 sheets of cardstock. Ivory, watermelon, bubblegum, pale rose, and light pink. Okay, now what you want to do is pull out your cardstocks, and then let's head over to the Cricuts and cut all this out.
The very first thing you want to do is grab your scoring tool for your Cricut and insert that into your clamp A side. The next thing you want to do is take your very first sheet of cardstock and put that onto your sticky mat and insert that into your Cricut. Then what you want to do is press the fast cut mode on your screen, and I always like to use my plain cardstock in the cardstock mode, and then press the blinking C button. You're going to want to cut out all your cardstock for this project. When you're done cutting your cardstock, you can pack away your Cricut because we don't need it anymore.
Okay, I have one already finished because this is going to be the hardest part because you're not going to be able to see the string. I am using clear string right here because I want it to look like it's floating. So you're not going to be able to see, which is why I have this. So what you want to do is take a piece of washi tape or painter's tape, whichever one you have on hand, and just take a long piece. Like you want to keep a tail, a long tail. Put that on the very top and then tape down your clear string. Then what you want to do is take your first color or your largest piece of your hearts, and you're going to fold these in half. This is why doing the score line was so important, because we're not going to have to struggle on where the exact center is because we've already figured it out. Okay, then what you want to do is take one heart, so we have it folded away from us. And then you want to take your glue and you're just going to put it all around the perimeter of your left side of your heart, or your right, whichever one. Then what you want to do is taking the left side of another heart, and we are going to lay it onto our glue mark. So it's going to look something like this.
It's gonna look weird, right? Okay, then what we're going to do is we're gonna take more glue and we are gonna go on the left side of our heart. We're only gonna do one side at a time. And I'm just gonna go around the perimeter. Then I'm gonna take my last heart and I'm gonna put it down just like this. Okay, so what you should be left with is 2 pieces of hearts right here, okay? So it's gonna look like this for right now. I am going to flatten them down so you're gonna be able to see like a crease in the middle. I'm gonna find my clear string, which is why I have an example already set up because this part is hard. I'm gonna pick up my clear string, put my string in between my sandwich, and then because I want this to kind of all look the same, I'm gonna try and eyeball where I want my hearts to go. Looks good. Now what I'm gonna do is squeeze some glue down the gap of my heart. So you see how there's just a line straight down the gap of that. And then I'm gonna go around the perimeter just like that. Okay, then I'm going to fold over my hearts. I am going to use my brayer and I'm going to push down really hard, sealing up that glue and that string. Okay, then what you want to do is go to your next color or your next size, doing the same steps as what we did with the largest heart. So I'm just going to start, bend my circles in half, taking one heart, gluing down the perimeter, going over only to the left, taking another heart, and I'm going to sandwich it onto all 3 pieces on together. Now before closing it up all the way, I'm going to butterfly them open, finding my clear string, and I'm going to put my heart in between my string, and then I'm going to squeeze some glue in between my string and my heart in the crack, adding more glue, and then I'm going to fold my pieces over using my brayer to seal it all in. Okay, then you just want to keep on working down until you get to your last color. Okay, when you get down to the very end, what you want to do is take your scissors and you just want to cut off your string at the very tip of your heart. Okay, so now I'm going to do my next row. So I'm going to take my clear fishing line. I'm going to make a long tail. So there's a long tail right here. I'm going to use some washi tape and we're going to tape down my string to my table. And then doing the same things that we've done before. So we're going to take our hearts, fold them, glue them, put them underneath our line, match them up to the other strands, and then move on to the next color. Okay, so when they're done drying, you just kind of want to fluff them up like this to where they actually look like a 3D heart. And then what you want to do is take an embroidery hoop. Now you can do one of 2 things. You can just take the largest part off, and we could technically not use this because of this right here and only use the outside of this. Now other people, I know what they like to do with these things is wrap colored yarn around this, but I don't particularly like that look. So what I'm going to do is just leave it naked like this, and I'm going to take one string off and I'm going to tie it around the top of my embroidery hoop. Now because this is clear string, it's going to be a little bit difficult because it's clear string. Okay, when you have that done, you just want to cut off the excess. You don't need it. So it will hang perfectly, looking really cute. Okay, now what you want to do is the same thing with the next line. Try and get it as even as possible as the other ones that you already have. And the hardest part of this entire project is just tying these strings on. Because if you're using clear string like me, it is honestly going to be the most difficult part because you can hardly see where those strings are. Okay, cutting off the ends. Okay, then I'm just going to cut off the last end. So I have all 3 of my heart strings tied on to my embroidery hoop. Okay, next what you want to do is take some type of cordage, and what you want to do is try and figure out the length of how tall you want your mobile to hang. So then what you want to do is take that length and double it. And I'm going to cut off 3 pieces of length. Okay, then what I'm going to do is fold my ropes in half so they kind of look like this. I am going to put and space these out in thirds. So I'm going to put my little hoop right here on the inside of my hoop, and then I'm going to thread in my cordage. So it's going to look like this. Okay, now we want to take the second cord, folding it in half, and doing the same thing. We're going to put it on the inside of our hoop. And I'm going to take my 2 ends of my string and I'm going to push it through the loop and pull tight. Okay, last one. You want to continue doing this for how many ever cords that you created. Okay, then you kind of want to just space these all out, making sure that your cords are pulled tight. Okay, then we're going to take all 3 of our strands, or how many ever you've created. Okay, pulling in the middle, and I am just going to tie the very top, all the pieces of rope. I'm going to tie the very top together. Okay, and then because I don't want it to be frayed looking, I'm just going to trim off the frays and kind of hide them a little bit.
All right, y'all, didn't the finished product of this turn out absolutely freaking gorgeous? But I have to tell you, now that I'm finished with my mobile, I do have to say, I probably should have filled this out a little bit more, doing a couple extra strands. What do you think? Do you think that I should add a couple more onto this? Oh, I am freaking obsessed. So now that I'm done making a mobile, I need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what else I should make with my Cricut. What do you think? Let me know in the comments of this video, and I'll see you next time.